Hey Cyrus, this is Brandon. We spoke earlier on the phone. I just wanted to take a moment to see if I can add some value to you and show you what I do. And basically, I want to go through a couple things. I want to try to be as quick and concise as I can, but I also want to touch on the radon because I know that you mentioned that that was one thing you specifically were wanting to gear a little bit more towards. So I definitely want to cover that as well. But first, I'll cover some things in a general sense. So basically, my hope is to be able to just help small business owners boost their online presence so that they can get more customers in the door, or in your case, get into more doors, so that you can do those home inspections and just add some value to other people in what you do. And so here's how I do that. Basically, I design websites or help optimize websites with a focus on search engine optimization. And all that means really is basically setting up your site and configuring it so that it's primed to rank on the top page of Google. You have the Google Maps portion, as I'm sure you're aware of, and then the organic search results. And so my hope is to basically show you some things that could help you climb to into the top three of the Google Maps or the top page of the organic search results. So that's what I do. And there's basically three main categories that Google evaluates as they decide where you should be sitting in the search results. So the first one is keywords and content, the second one is citations, and the third is backlinks. So, when I first went in, I typed in home inspector Clarksville, Tennessee. These are the top three that show up. And so I kind of did some research on those three to figure out why they are there and what it would take to beat the competition so that you can show up in this top three. Because at the end of the day, whoever's showing up into the top three is obviously going to get more clicks on their websites and maybe more customers because of it. And so that's my goal, is to help you do that. So let's go into a couple things. The first thing is the keywords and content. So that's the first ingredient to talk about. And so when I did that, I went over here and you can start to see, I use a tool called Ahrefs, which I'll pull up a little bit more in a second, but you can see that home inspector for Clarksville, Tennessee, there's some variations of that home inspection or Clarksville home inspector. So there's some different variations. The volume here is the amount of searches that are happening per month for each of these terms and phrases. And so you can do a little math there. It's definitely hundreds of searches per month that are coming through for home inspectors in your specific area. And so I want to help you capitalize on that. And this is the KD, that stands for keyword difficulty, and it's showing as a 0, which that's actually really good news, because when you start to incorporate these terms in your website, it will actually help you to rank higher on Google, So this is one of the elements that they're looking at. In addition to keywords is the content, and Google likes to see 1,500 to 2,000 words on your basically on your website so that they can use their robots and algorithms and whatnot to scan your site and see what kind of information is there and decide if how trustworthy your site is and your business might be, and then rank you accordingly in Google. And so that's the first step, is the keywords and content. The next is citations. Citations is basically your business name, address, phone number, etc., as it appears all over the internet. So the more places you have it showing up, the better. And so I typed in like home inspectors in the area, and you could see that the maximum amount of citations that I found for home inspectors in your area was 23, and you're actually doing pretty well, sitting at 15. So that's really good. But if you up it and jump well over 20, maybe into the 30 or 40 range of citations, then that would help you to outrank as well. And so you can do that through like different online directories. And I use this tool. It's called Whitespark. So you can actually go in and see exactly where the competitors have their citations listed, and you can tag along on some of those and then add some of your own so that you can beat them. Okay, so the next thing is going to be the the backlinks. So I wanted to pull this up here. If we just look at the number 3 spot on the Google Maps, you can see how many backlinks they have, right? So they have 18 backlinks. Now, what a backlink is if your website is listed somewhere else as a link on another person's website, and when they click on it, it redirects to your website. That's what a backlink is. And so the more you have of those, the better. Now, not all backlinks are created equal, so you wouldn't want to just throw out a bunch of backlinks all over the internet. You kind of want them to be similar in the same industry and stuff like that, so that Google recognizes it as not spammy, but actually a legitimate backlink. And so that's the third way that you can utilize to kind of boost your online presence and kind of basically tell Google, like, hey, I am a real business, I'm a legitimate business, I'm a respectable, trustworthy business, and so on. And so they're looking at all of that data to determine where you should rank. So I'm talking a little fast, getting a little long-winded, but I wanted to go over this other thing as well, because you had mentioned the radon testing. So I went in and I typed in the Radon Inspector, Clarksville, Tennessee. The same top 2 appeared there. But then that one inspector popped in the number 3 spot because they provide that radon testing. So I went ahead and pulled up some of their information as well. And so if you go into that oneinspector.com, this is that tool Ahrefs I was mentioning. It's Ahrefs. I pay a few $100s a month for this, but you're certainly able to kind of do this on your own without me if you wanted to do that. So you can see, like, they have 107 backlinks, and they're using 133 keywords and stuff like that. And so, but what I wanted to do specifically is look at what keywords they were using for the radon stuff. And actually, I looked at the top 3 sites for radon, and it wasn't really mentioned in a way that could be utilized on your end. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. So I just did a separate search for radon inspection, and then I found radon inspection Clarksville, Tennessee, but those other sites aren't using that. Now you can see the volume is not super high. There's only 20 searches per month happening for that. But if you're able to rank in the top 3 and take advantage of those 20 searches and maybe grab a few of them, then that would obviously be a benefit to you. So whenever you're doing your website, you would want to utilize that keyword as well, so that you're ranking in that as well. And then this one is actually your website, GarrisonHomeInspections.com. So you can see you have 36 backlinks, but you're not utilizing any organic keywords. So you'd want to make sure and start to work those into your website, and that will definitely help you with the rankings. So it's a little bit long-winded. I usually try to keep this down to more like 5 or 6 minutes, but I wanted to definitely cover the radon testing as well, because that's a little bit of a more specialized focus for you. So that's pretty much all I got. Just to sum it back up, when Google is looking at your websites, if you want to rank higher on the Google map portion and in the organic searches so that you're on page 1 of Google, you want to keep those 3 things in mind. The first is keywords and content. The second is citations. And the third is backlinks. And so I'm certainly excited to help you do that. If you choose to move forward with me, that's great. Otherwise, I just hope that this adds some value no matter what. But I look forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk soon. Have a blessed night.